Mariah Ramos. She's an analyst with the department, and we're very excited to hear from you each today. So with that, I would like to welcome our first speaker. There has been a change to the agenda. David Huerta was not able to make it today, and but we do have a very exciting speaker, Mr. David Green, president of SEIU 721. David, if you'd like to come up.
Hello, good afternoon. Good to see you all. I don't think I need a microphone. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. All right. Great to see you all. So I'm representing all the Davids in SEIU, so great to have you here. My name is David Green, and I'm the president for SEIU Local 721, also the executive director, and I'm part of the International Executive Board for SEIU International as well. SEIU 721 is one of the largest unions in the entire country. We represent more than 100,000 members in Southern California. And I'm here to say that SEIU 721's tens of thousands of members strongly and overwhelmingly support establishing CalAccount, which will give all Californians access to a zero-fee, zero-penalty bank accounts. We can clap. That's okay. All right. I'm excited about it, Why are we doing this? Because the banking system doesn't work for far too many Californians. And as a children's social worker at LA County Department of Children and Family Services for almost 25 years, and as an SEIU leader, I've met dozens, if not hundreds, of Californians who lack basic banking services that many of us take for granted. And unfortunately, this all disproportionately affects Black and Latino communities who are much more likely to be unbanked or underbanked. And we feel that if the state is serious about addressing inequality, serious about keeping people from homelessness or struggling to pay their bills or feed their families, then we must prevent households from getting trapped in debt with big bank fees or penalties imposed by large banks and predatory lenders. So that's why I and tens of thousands of SEIU 721 members across Southern California support CalAccount. With zero fee, zero penalty bank accounts available to all California. Yeah, all right. I'll say it again. With zero fee, zero penalty bank accounts available to all Californians, the state can remove an unnecessary roadblock to financial stability for communities that have borne the brunt of generations of financial exclusion. And most importantly, it's the right thing to do. Do you agree with me? Yes. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Appreciate your comments. Our next speaker is Trinity Tran, co-founder, Public Bank LA California Public Banking Alliance. Trinity?
Trinity Tran with Public Bank Los Angeles, California Public Banking Alliance. I want to thank everyone, community leaders, labor leaders for joining us here today at the CalAccount Downtown LA Town Hall. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. And want to thank the Treasurer's Office and the DFPI, the Department of Financial Protection Innovation Agency, for hosting us today. So I want to take a few minutes to share why this program is important from us as public banking advocates, and why it's also important for members of the public to get involved in this process, especially right now at this critical juncture. So at the end of 2021, Governor Newsom passed AB 1177, the California Public Banking Option Act. That bill is also known as CalAccount. So that bill created the CalAccount Blue Ribbon Commission, and that commission is tasked with writing the CalAccount market analysis. So that report will look at the costs, it will analyze the benefits and the feasibility of this program, and that is why it's so important that the consultants and the commissioners hear from the public, from members of the public, about your experiences, your personal testimony about the harmful impact of the banking system and how that has impacted California's working families, how that's impacted LA communities. So your input will be critical in helping build the case for why California needs to create the CalAccount program to provide free banking access to all Californians regardless of your financial status, regardless of your immigration status. So this really is a first historic, but first in the nation program to provide universal banking access to all of our state's residents. So I want to just do an overview of the CalAccount program.
Should we just go there? We need to record the sound for the newspaper.
Oh, okay. Where do you
Please.
want me?
Yeah.
Right here?
Up there. Yeah, you might be like it.
Right here. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a speaker there. So I want to give an overview of the CalAccount program. What is CalAccount? So CalAccount is a state-run digital platform that will provide all Californians with easy access to a basic checking account with debit card services. So anyone can open an account and be able to access a network of ATM and existing retail storefronts without any costs, without any penalties. All accounts are federally insured, so there are no costs to account holders. And as part of the program, employers can set up and maintain payroll direct deposit. And that way, that allows workers to participate in the program and do automatic bill payments and also receive state and local public benefits. So I do want to clarify, because this can be confusing, the difference between CalAccount and public banks. So the bill that was passed was called the California Public Banking Option Act. So I just want to differentiate between public banking option and public banks. So while we are simultaneously working to create the Los Angeles Public Bank, that is a city-owned bank that will leverage public funds, that's the fees, the revenues the city accrues, leverage public funds to finance affordable housing and green energy and support socially beneficial projects. So while we're simultaneously working on that, and there's initiatives up and down the state of California, from San Francisco to Oakland to Sacramento, to create these city and region-owned public banks that are owned by the people, that are accountable by the people. So while that effort is happening, the CalAccount effort is separate from that. So CalAccount doesn't create a state bank. It doesn't create a new bank. It will work in collaboration with existing financial institutions. So it will work with community banks, potentially credit unions, and tap into their existing network of ATMs and retail storefront infrastructure to provide those zero cost, zero fee, zero penalty bank accounts to all Californians. So essentially you can see, So essentially public banks will bank cities and CalAccount will bank the public. And in a few years, when public banks come online, like, they can potentially hold CalAccounts, but the program is created as a public-private partnership. And although it doesn't create a bank, it works in synergy with the public banking movement, because it's about creating a public platform. It's about creating universal banking access that everyone can access for free, easily. So it works. So the public banking option and public banks both work in the same ecosystem, because they're working to bring in marginalized communities who have been excluded, who have been sidelined by the current banking system, and creating that path towards equitable and economic justice. So just on the note of financial justice, when we talk about financial justice, we refer to two groups: the unbanked and the underbanked. So the unbanked are individuals who don't have a bank account. They heavily rely on cash, whether they don't trust the banks or whether they don't have minimum account balances. So that is the unbanked group. And then you have the underbanked groups, are people who have a bank account, but they have inadequate access. So they have to rely on expensive, predatory financial services like check cashers and prepaid cards, because those services don't require a credit check. They don't require minimum account balances. But if you need to cash a check, those check cashers take a huge portion of your pay, up to 12%. And then sometimes even more if it's for certain checks like payroll. So, these high fees are impacting people who are already struggling financially. And then it also makes it very difficult to build a solid credit history. And this problem is especially significant with communities of color. Over 30% of Black households are unbanked or underbanked. Over 30% of Latino and Latina households are unbanked and underbanked in California. And when you look at the national statistics, about every year in the U.S.,
consumers are spending about $8 billion a year. That's what consumers are paying big banks in overdraft fees, $8 billion a year. And 80% of that $8 billion is coming from your poorest 9% of customers. So the poorest 9% of people are paying over 80% of overdraft fees. So, these statistics really shine a light on the disparities that are faced by low-income communities and communities of color. And these are systemic barriers to economic stability and financial stability, and that's exactly what we are trying to work to lift. These are the barriers that we are trying to lift because everyone deserves a fair shot at financial stability and at growth, and we need to pave a path where working families can keep as much money in their pockets as possible. And why that's important, because when people are able to keep their money in their pockets instead of spending it on expensive bank fees and expensive bank interest. When people are able to keep their money in their pockets, that boosts the economy. So CalAccount will help families, working families, especially low-income families, save money in their pockets. And when you save money in your pockets, you have more to spend on goods and services. And when you have more to spend on goods and services, you're stimulating the economy and creating jobs. And there's a 2021 report that came out from HRNA Advisors that points to exactly that. And it says they found that by redirecting spending away from bank interest and bank fees, so when you're helping families keep money in their pockets, that will result in the program would serve 3.5 individual workers in California. It would result in $3.3 billion in savings for low-income households. It would create 22,000 jobs, and it would boost the California economy by over $4 billion. So creating financial inclusion will actually strengthen California economies and be able to empower California families. So these are some of these are some of the few of the many reasons why we need public financial infrastructure, and we need a protected, a safe pathway for millions of Californians. It's about roughly 8 million Californians who are unbanked and underbanked. So we need a pathway for them to be able to access their funds and be able to protect consumers from financial services that are predatory, that are discriminatory, that are costly. And, we've got to level the playing field for everyone, and that starts by creating a public banking option platform that's accessible to everyone. So you are all a critical part of creating of the future of finance. And once CalAccount is launched, this will be the first state-level public banking option platform to provide universal banking services to all state residents. So as public banking advocates, what we are ultimately working to do is to transform banking into a public utility as it should be, free and accessible to all. And that will be a game changer, especially for marginalized communities and for people who have been far too long victimized by the banking system. So I want to thank all of you for showing up. I want to thank the Treasurer's Office and all the community leaders in the House, SEIU 7-1, ACE, Ground Game. Thank you, everyone, for joining today and sharing your input in this very critical program. Thank you.
Thank you, Trinity, for your comments today. Up next, our last guest speaker, Luz Castro, Policy Associate Director, Policy and Legal Strategy and Inclusive Action. Luz?
Hi, good afternoon. Muy buenas tardes. Can you hear me? All right? Perfect. Hi, my name is Luz Castro. I'm the Associate Director of Policy at Inclusive Action for the city. We're an economic justice organization and a community development financial institution, mostly known as a CDFI. And we work, we're based out of Boyle Heights, but we work with LA County residents and beyond. Our mission is to enhance access to transformative capital and advocate for just and fair economic policies at both the local level and the state level. We work to eliminate barriers for economic opportunity, particularly for low-income people, people of color, and immigrant families who are often denied formal and traditional financial systems. And allow me to paint a picture of some of our work and some of the obstacles that our community faces. Imagine that you have a dream of having your own business, but several factors in your life, oftentimes due to circumstances that are out of your control, lock you out of the traditional banking system. What do you do when that happens? Do you put your dream on hold? At Inclusive Action, we say no. And instead, we help open those doors for community members that we work with. I'm here to express Inclusive Action's strong support for an inclusive and accessible CalAccount implementation. It is long overdue to provide a stable financial platform for unbanked and underbanked Californians. At Inclusive Action, we have the privilege of working with hundreds of small business owners, entrepreneurs, street vendors that come into our office every single day seeking support for financial systems that they don't have. Through one-on-one consultations, we offer both English and Spanish resources, and we collaborate with them to develop systems that are supportive and systems tailored to their specific needs. While yes, we have had the privilege of working with many entrepreneurs and supporting them in their pathway from micro business owners to small business owners, we've also encountered many challenges in adapting systems to their needs due to their difficulties accessing traditional banking services. Whether unbanked or choosing to forego traditional banks, our community members and clients have shared their reasons for those decisions. Because of their immigration status, many of them are ineligible to open a bank account. Our community members have also shared that there are high banking fees that they can't keep up with, withdrawal limits that don't work for them or their business. And our youngest clients, the Gen Zers, they face barriers when it comes to lending and banking accounts. Instead, they're having to work with other fintech platforms like Cash App or operating and only in cash, which causes challenges with managing, accessing, receiving, or saving funds for the younger generation. Given these obstacles, it's crucial that CalAccount goes beyond being just another bank. It must instead be a program specifically crafted for the unbanked and the underbanked communities. CalAccount really does have the opportunity to represent a crucial initial stride in assisting hundreds of thousands of families throughout the state of California, and in ensuring full economic integration of our community, regardless of your income, regardless of your socioeconomic background, your immigration status. This will also provide a roadmap to financial stability and establishing a robust financial safety net. This is particularly important for the undocumented population who face significantly challenges. So allow me to share some insights when it comes to the undocumented population, when it comes with working with financial systems. As you may be aware, in the United States, there's 10.5 million undocumented people that live in this country without a pathway to citizenship. In California, which is the state that has the highest number of undocumented people, there are 2 million residents here that are living here undocumented without access to a green card. They contribute billions of dollars annually into federal, state, and local taxes. They fortify the state's financial infrastructure. Yet despite their contributions to the economy, undocumented immigrants don't have access to the federal programs that are available to those that are U.S. citizens or green card holders. And with that, they don't have access to tools that can help them build wealth, and oftentimes they're forced to engage in informal saving methods, such as setting aside cash or utilizing community-based informal savings networks, oftentimes called tandas or cundinas in the Latino community, right? And immigrants in general have a difficult time building wealth due to a number of reasons, like their experiences with lower wages, job insecurity, limited access to financial services, and literacy, all of which are barriers that prevent them from achieving economic integration in this country. As the state considers CalAccount implementation, we urge you to consider the unique challenges undocumented communities face in accessing our existing financial systems. And I particularly want to mention ITINs, because ITINs are an important tool that a lot of our immigrant communities use, right? And while ITINs are available to all immigrants, regardless of your immigration status, many of our immigrant communities decide not to pursue ITINs for various reasons: fear of deportation, language barriers, not understanding how the system works. Therefore, we ask that the state make CalAccount accessible to everyone by providing alternate opportunities for identification, like accepting foreign passports, matricula consulares, or other government-issued IDs. And like I said before, CalAccount is a necessary step forward that provides unique opportunities for those that are unbanked and underbanked to have access to the banking system. And Inclusive Action fully supports this effort, and we believe that embracing a holistic approach to financial inclusion has the potential to empower hundreds of thousands of families in this country, regardless of their immigration status, regardless of their socioeconomic background. And we believe that CalAccount will and can create an inclusive, accountable, and just economic system for California. Thank you.